Good morning. Well, I survived the 4th of July. Not that there was anything to survive. Uh, no huge news, but it was a good day. In fact, I'm feeling many good days ahead and experiencing them currently. The title for today is Laws Exist to Protect the People. You may wonder about that one. Here's the blurb. If that's true, and it is, why aren't people being protected? That's easy. Criminals have been running the system, and the people have been asleep. That is changing as more and more people wake up and learn how to use the law to turn the tide and force the criminals to pay for their own crimes against humanity. We are seeing signs of this all over, and this is the foundation for mass arrests that are underway, despite the lack of widespread mainstream coverage. I highly recommend going to setoffdebt.com and listening to their weekly calls archived near the bottom of the page. Listen backwards to the newest ones first. That's what I've been doing. So you don't believe mass arrests are underway. I'm sure there's a lot of you that are in that category. Nevertheless, even in some of the, I think it's mainstream, I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's been widespread for me and the things that I look at. George Soros and Donald Trump were just indicted. And also, that big thing taking place in Canada where the Crown, the Vatican, and pharmaceutical firms are under indictment for crimes against humanity. And these things are being convened, and this is not all. I mean, this is just a little bit of it. But this is happening, and also the resignations continue of people in high places in the financial industry. Excuse me. I feel like a sneeze coming on, but it's not quite here. In any case, the arrests are happening. And as I listen to the setoffdebt.com material and the testimonials that are given, I've listened to several of the weekly calls by now in the last couple of days. And of course, I've listened to their material previously, and it provides some of the foundation that I'm using in how I'm standing up to my legal issues. But you have to understand part of the problem here. Humanity has been taught that the law is all these codes and ordinances and acts and other things passed by our governments, local and state and federal and even international governments. We think that this is the law. We've been trained that that is the law. But as you familiarize yourself with setoffdebt.com and their principles, they continually emphasize to go above the line. What is the line? The line is the real law. All of that stuff down there that we think of as being the law isn't lawful. That's why crimes against humanity have been able to continue, and how the criminal establishment has been able to get away with it, because they are operating below the line, or outlaw, below the law, not above the law, where they're acting as if they are above the law, But the truth of the matter is, the only thing that can truly be above the law is God, or the Creator, and then the people who are God's creation, given unalienable and unalienable rights. Granted as our birthright, folks. And since the Magna Carta, and since actually going all the way back to the Bible and the Quran and wonderful books of sacred writings, common law was established. Common law was established with Hammurabi's Code. Go way back. These things are the law. Treat your neighbor as you want to be treated. The golden rule. That's the law. And what we think of as the laws break that law. And that's the cosmic law. That's the divine law, if you will, in operation among humanity. And most advanced, in fact, all advanced cultures in the universe, according to what ETs are telling us, all of them operate lawfully. You don't have a whole lot of outlaw planets like we have on planet Earth. You don't have, in all these other places, in a lot of these other places anyway, a place where the rulers are malevolent. But our rulers are malevolent and psychopathic. And we need to be able to be intelligent enough to use the law to bring everything back into control. And it is in an accelerated mode. It is happening. People are awakening. People, even one of the videos one of the calls that I listened to, lawyers, attorneys are coming over to the setoffdebt.com people for help and for training. They're showing up at the training classes to learn how to make the law work for good instead of robbing the people as they're trying to do in the banks, stealing all the houses. Banks have no legitimate claim on anybody's property, period. All of their contracts are invalid and unlawful, period. They are unlawful because they never signed them. They never took any responsibility for them. They never actually gave any consideration to the, quote, borrowers. And that's not just true of mortgages. That's true of car loans. That's true of student loans. That's true of all commercial loans. Folks, the entire financial industry, from insurance and banking to all sorts of multinational corporations, are all operating unlawfully. Actually, illegally, because even in their laws, like the Uniform Commercial Code and other internationally recognized codes of law, are all of the ingredients necessary to bring lawful claim against the criminals at the top. So when we talk about mass arrests, it's not just some fiction fairy tale thing that we're talking about. And someone sent me a video yesterday, which I shared on my Facebook page, about a sheriff in New Hampshire who is investigating the banks for fraud, for criminal fraud. This has to happen all over the world, and it will, as people begin to wake up and say, no more, no more. In the United States, we have the Constitution. It's a firewall that protects the people from abuses if you know how to use it. We are under that law. We the people. Well, we are actually, no, let me put it this way. That law is the eternal law. Okay? We are protected by that law. We are over the line and over all of the codes and ordinances created by governments, which are the people's creation. We created the Constitution to protect us from government intrusion and from tyranny, because we knew, our forefathers knew, that the tendency of man is for criminals to want to control other people. And that's why the safeguards were built into the Constitution with the Bill of Rights. And if you're in the United States, all state governments, all state declarations or bills of right, Bill of Rights, all of those are based upon the original Constitution of the United States. We, the people, are protected by the law when we know how to use it. Now, the courts are still criminal courts, kangaroo courts. They don't keep the law themselves, and they don't like it, and they don't, as the judge in my case last Thursday, he didn't even want me to ask questions. He didn't want me to make a statement. He only wanted me to choose his options. Choose from among his first 2, then 3 options. He totally broke the law, and he admitted that he was using coercion. He admitted it on the floor of the court. He admitted it. He broke the law. He is not a judge. He was not acting impartially. He was acting as the prosecuting attorney from the bench, which means he was practicing law, unlawful law, from the bench. He's not allowed to do that. A judge can only be impartial. He's the referee. He's the umpire. He's not the one who makes the rules. He's the one that makes sure the rules are abided by. But if he let me speak, I would have totally blown away the entire case, because it's all unlawful. So I cannot win in a hostile environment. I'm realizing that. There's no way that I can go into that hostile environment with judges that are acting as prosecutors and win. There's no way. I have to do it. I have to do it with paperwork and present that to the proper people, and ultimately bring lawsuits against the criminals. This is what's happening with the mass arrests. Lawsuits are being filed, and they will be heard. And let me tell you something, the energy that is on the planet right now is for the people to win. We are being energized by the angelic realm and by the extraterrestrial assistants. They're not appearing in mass yet, but they will eventually. But we are being supported cosmically and spiritually to rise up and stand in our power and to bring down the cabal that has been criminally operating in false rulership of the planet. This is going to be addressed. It is being addressed, and it is happening, and it's in an acceleration mode, folks. It's happening fast. And the more people that wake up, and the more people that stand in their truth and learn the law. Learn the law. Now, I know it's not fun to learn the law. I've really not liked having to study the law, but a lot of what I've studied was below the line. All the codes and ordinances, which are a maze of confusion. But above the line, with the protections of the Magna Carta and the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and the foundational doctrines, even the Bible and the Quran and other spiritual writings, the principles that were laid down long ago, when you get above the line and say, well, these are being violated, well, then you find the law, other law, the codes and the ordinances that actually do support those things. That is, support the people and support true law, true justice. It is supported within the law, folks, but you have to know how to use it. And that's why I encourage you to go to setoffdebt.com. I think Fred and Nina are doing a fantastic job of training and teaching people. I mean, it is amazing. They are part of the republic, by the way, folks. This is part of the republic that's being reestablished. So I leave you with these things to think about. The laws exist to protect us, we the people. And arrests are taking place and will accelerate in taking place as more and more people learn to use the law to their advantage and to bring indictments against these criminal judges, attorneys, politicians, CEOs, COOs, CFOs, and all of these people that have run roughshod over human rights across the planet. The time for that to end is now, and it will end, I believe. It will be coming to an end this year, and we'll watch it unfold in the weeks and months ahead as more and more people are brought to true justice. I thank you once again for listening, and I encourage you once again to follow your heart, trust your gut, but don't throw your mind away. Learn the law that protects you and learn how it can free you from the onslaught of injustice in the falsely called justice system of our world. Your rights are protected by divine decree. Please know that. Thank you. Namaste. Blessings.